Hello everybody, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to use compression, but you don't need a compressor. And this kind of workflow I literally developed because it's super difficult to find the right sound for vocals, because vocals always create the issue. This is the track, the instrumental, and this is the vocal, and both do not work together because sometimes the vocal has some strong peaks, is harsh, and always is competing with the instruments. And I found a way of working with vocals with a specific method that I developed over the years. And I try to prevent compression sometimes, because what I feel is if you use saturation, you get a much better control of the peaks and you get the vocal much more natural. And today I'm going to show you in my session how this works. I don't use any outboard gear right here. I just use my computer, just the DAW. It's everything in the box, and I use plugins for that. So what we do is now let's switch over to the session right here. So let's see how we can make it more stable with saturation. What I do right here is I use a Studer A800 and a Studer emulation from Softtube. And the first one is from UAD and the second one is from Softtube, the emulation. And literally what I do first with the Studer is I try to control the peaks, and what I do is I use the GP9 tape on that one, and I push a little bit more the input and reduce it and compensate it with the output, and have the speed on 15, but sometimes I also like to reduce it by 7.5. Now let's see what is going to happen when I switch on the tape machine. And what you see now, all the peaks are controlled, and it's just due to the fact of the saturation. And it's super cool because you don't need a compressor and it sounds much more natural. And even you can reduce the tape speed and it will have an impact on the sound you see, because then even less peaks are getting through. Of course, it can create that the audio material gets a little bit more dull. And right here on that tape, the second one, let's say when I put this back on a 15, and I go, for example, on the other Studer just to do a kind of compressor staging. I do it with a saturation staging. You see the other peaks a little bit reduced. You see, it's just losing a little bit of gain. And of course, you need to compensate it a little bit. Okay, let's have a look. That's the track before the double saturation. And I will show you the track also afterwards, including the double saturation.
Gonna need you tonight, just by my side. Gonna need you tonight, just hold me tight.
So let's now switch on the tape emulation.
Gonna need you tonight, just by my side. Gonna need you tonight, just hold me tight.
When you have super unstable vocals, it makes sense to also use some compression before. But that way, even when you do it in a light way on a bass or on a specific main vocal track, it always has a great impact. And it also already creates, you have less harsh sound and some pops and some ass noises in there, just due to the fact because the tape is smoothing the peaks on the whole thing. And you can use less processing. That's one of the ways how I work. And I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe and leave a comment, and see you soon.